Hey guys, we're back. We're gonna have a special one-day tournament we had last week at Atomic Empire. It's an ETC comp tournament. It's a prep tournament for the Audios 8th Edition tournament that they're having at Atomic Empire at the end of the month. And my first round matchup is be Orcs and Goblins versus Orcs and Goblins. It's a special challenge match. Take a look at my army list. Now, under ETC rules, if you're not familiar with it, you cannot have a unit that has more than 450 points in it, not counting characters. So that means no Black Orc hordes, no Troll hordes, and even your Savage Orc Brigand hordes has to be a little bit smaller. You can still take Night Goblin hordes or Squig hordes. Now I take like this slightly truncated Savage Orc horde here, and having the trolls is tough because I feel like they're the best unit orcs have. So it's like an uphill battle. Trying to get used to not having them. Other than that, basically the rest of the list is standard. I've got some squigs and chariots pretty much taking the place of all my trolls. Now let's take a look at my opponent's list. You'll notice pretty quickly that he's going to have the Night Goblin horde, like Death Star. Now the list he gave me was actually 2,400 points. He didn't realize you could have 2,500 points on ETC rules for Orcs and Goblins. I think he throws in three extra Night Goblin big bosses to make it the 10 because it's only 7 on the list. Also, though, his list only had one fanatic, and he puts 3 fanatics down on the table. I think he does this by accident because that makes him go over by 50 points. But anyway, like I said, this is Death Star. He's got 4 shamans, 2 Lure of Undeath, um, the ton of big bosses. Like almost the whole first 2 ranks, other than like 4, other than the command and a couple of other models, are all characters. And when you see the setup, you're going to be amazed at the tactic he has. So the ETC scenarios are very basic. I mean, there's only one scenario that basically forces you to leave your side of the table. This one's just meeting engagement with no reserve rolls. And look at his deployment. he's he's got his big guns with bows turned around, so they're not even facing me. They're facing the back corner, and they're protecting his 2 Doom Divers. It's in a way so that they're never forced to charge, and he'll just reform them if you get close. And he just got his big block up in front so that I really can't get around it. And those 3 pump wagons up there mean that there's point in me really even vanguarding because he's got almost an entire table cover where anything I try to vanguard up, he could slam it inside of me, and there's nothing I can do about it. And here's my setup, and I'm going to say that piece of terrain in the center is ruins, and ETC has special rules for ruins because ruins are basically just described as dangerous terrain in the main rule book. So in here, everybody takes the dangerous terrain test if you march, flee, charge um, through ruins. And the basic things like chariots and cavalry will fail on a 1 or 2, where everybody else fails on a 1. So that's a really nasty piece of terrain for me to have in the middle of the table because of all the chariots I have. Also, he deployed first because he won the roll for table sides. So I'm deploying second, so the only way I'll get first turn is so I can roll a 6, which I don't do. And a quick pick of my only Vanguard. I Vanguard my Wolf Rider Big Boss. That's the only thing where one of the pump wagons would not have been able to hit it easily if I Vanguarded it. And for some reason I forget that he's fully upgraded all his pump wagons. And in my mind I was thinking, he could only move about 10 inches with 3 dice. And so my Wolf Riders there are like 14, 15 inches away. And that's like an average roll on 4 dice. And my mind wasn't registering that on 4 dice he could easily make it to those Wolf Riders. So he wins first turn, and his pump wagons. All right, the first pump wagon you don't see on the table, it went crazy when he rolled the 4 dice. He had 2 1s, and then in the random direction it goes, it sails towards my other mangler and lands right on it, right off the. I had that mangler at least 20 inches from him, and so he sails right on that mangler. His second mangler up here, he moves it backwards to get it away from my other mangler. And then the third pump wagon easily makes the charge into the Wolf Riders. And like I said, I was thinking 3 dice. I forgot he'd fully upgraded so he could have 4 dice. So now those Wolf Riders are toast, and the chariot behind him is in bad shape. Now in Magic, he'll try to raise like something with one of his level. I think it's level 3 of undeath or whatever. And his, of course, his mushrooms are 1, so the spell doesn't work, and he takes a wound on his character. In shooting, his short bows shoot it. These wolf riders kill 2 of them. I pass my panic, and his doom divers kill my big boss on the wolf. And of course, over here, he easily destroys my wolf riders and it overruns into my orc chariot. Luckily, the orcs don't care about the goblins, and the squigs are immune to psychology. Now, I'm about to turn 1. My squigs fail animosity, and they're forced to charge the flank of that punt wagon. And even though the punt wagon was going to eventually threaten the rock lava, I wanted my squigs to be marching up because I was hoping they could get to those big ones on the other side of the table by the end of the game, or into the flank of his big night goblin horde. So this is going to slow them up for an entire turn. And as you can see, I destroyed the punt wagon, but the punt wagon's impact hits destroyed my orc chariot, which was incredible. So at least that punt wagon's out of the way. And if you look at those night goblins, I cascade my level 1 doing the foot of Gork. Luckily, he doesn't get sucked into the warp, but I kill a ton of goblins in that unit. And I do a wound to my Doom Diver, and I think I do a wound to the Orc Chariot in front of him as well. Now, when I did that foot of Gork, I had it placed right over where part of it was touching his general and of all his front line characters that I could get. He failed. It went off because it was irresistible force. And it was a hit, so it landed there. He failed 4 lookout sir rolls, including for his general. And he has magic resistance 3 though, and he made his 4 ward for his general. Oh, but I killed 1 big boss and did wounds to about 2 other big bosses, and I killed like 5 or 6 night goblins as well. And then the spell went away. I didn't get a second stomp. Now for my shooting, I placed both rock lavas on top of his general's head. One of them does get a hit, but he made his lookout sir that time. The other one I think scattered into night goblins, or maybe scattered somewhere. My troll moves up and draws his fanatics out. Now, I land on 2 fanatics on my way to my movement, and they only do 1 wound to me with 4d6 hits. So that was amazing. But my Doom Divers really do nothing. I think I was trying to take out his Mangler with that. He still has a ton of night goblins in that unit. His turn 2, he's going to charge my troll. Now, if you see all those little big rings around all of his characters, I think it's level 2 with Little Wog, whatever, miscast. I think it was trying to do Itchy Nuisance or something on my savages. And it has like the little template, and he fails again multiple lookout sir rolls. Plus for his, he takes the one on his, the hit on his shaman, and does a bunch of wounds in there, plus the wounds I had done for my foot of Gork. So like tons of characters in that unit already have 1 wound taken off of them. Basically the rest of his phase was mostly uneventful. I think he's shooting his Doom Divers at one of my chariots, and I don't think he does anything to it. But he does do this too in Magic. He has the Vortex, the Night Goblin Vortex spell. I can't remember the name of it because I hardly ever play Goblin Magic. And it goes right through my Savage Orcs, and it only kills about 4 of them because I get magic resistance for that and my regular ward save. So down that template's right behind my Savage Orcs. So my turn 2. I'm trying to do Foot of Gork on his unit. He must have dispelled this one. But my rock lavas go in. One of them scatters right into the middle of the unit because I'm putting both of them on his general's head, just hoping he's going to fail lookout sir. And I kill a bunch of night goblins with 1 rock lava. The other one scatters away. The Doom Drivers kill some night goblins. And I've killed a good amount of night goblins. You'll notice that big scenic base he has in there that counted as 15 night goblins is gone now. But it's not really enough. I need to be killing characters, not night goblins. And the vortex comes back through my savages again, kills 3 more, and now it's sitting in front of my chariots. And I've also sent my Mangler through his night goblins as well, so that killed night goblins too. And I sent it right into his Mangler, so it would kill the Mangler. And the best thing probably for me so far is I've killed all 3 of his punt wagons and his Mangler, so at least I've gotten some points. I think I've killed one big boss at this point, and I've got half points for a bunch of other characters. But still, I'm in trouble because almost all his points are in that unit, and the rest of his points are at the back corner, where it's going to be very hard for me at this point to get to because the squigs are forced to charge from animosity. And now that's like a whole turn that me and held back. And just one more picture from this turn because I think this is after I've done all the damage I could do to his unit, all the night goblins I've killed during the turn, and it's still a very big unit. And look at that long distance my squigs will have to go to get to those big ones back there. They are from this angle. It looks like they're miles and miles away. Now his turn 3 here, and basically he just stays still to shoot his bows at my savages. He picks the vortex up so he can cast again, and at some point he rolls another one for his mushroom, and I think this time he does a wound to his level 2. Um, Doom Divers, I think they're aiming at my Grey Spider and Gigantic Spider, and they do nothing to it. But basically, this was again not much going on for his turn. Actually, let's look at this picture again real quick. That 11 right there is going to be really important in my turn because this is actually the start of my turn. So now, this is my turn 3. That 11 was how far I needed to roll for my savages to make it into this combat. And I'm just charging everything at him that can see him, including that other wolf chariot, which couldn't make it in because the entire frontage was taken up. And I needed 11 for the savages, and I made that 11. And at this point, I'm real happy that I made that 11. But, it's probably the worst thing that could happen because he still has all these characters left. But as it is, I get a wolf chariot, a orc chariot, my gigantic spider boss, and all my savages into this unit of night goblins. This is another better angle of this big fight that's going to happen in the center. And let's look at the fancy lad banner, proudly waving. But the problem is going to be is everything's purple. All those 5th edition purple night goblins are characters. They're either big bosses or shamans. I think there's a couple of Balfour Skull Pass shamans in there as well. So that's still a ton of characters, even though a lot of them are wounded. Plus his general. So yeah, it's going to be rough. And so this is the end of the turn. And you look at this carnage. In my magic phase, I tried to get Fistagork, and air would go off, and he dispelled it. My shooting, all I could shoot at was his Doom Divers indirect fire, and I got nothing. Uh, you can tell I've lost a ton of Savage Orcs. And he has a cool little app on his phone where you can keep up track of the score. And this is like without the banners, because we both have 2 banners, so that cancels out. So he's killed some like 7 or 8 savages. And there's 4 night goblins fighting my big boss on the spider. They do 1 wound. I have a 2+ armor, and guess what I roll? I'll roll a 1. But yeah, I win this one by a bunch, but he's stubborn on a 9 on a reroll. I had my chances to take that away, because during my rock lavas in for the Gorks, I did a wound to his BSB. I did a wound to his level 2 that has Chrono Command. I had a foot of Gork wound his general, and he made the ward. So at many points, I had time to kill these characters that were going to keep him in this fight, but I wasn't able to do it. But I've lost a ton of savages, and the next round is going to be really scary. So his turn 4, he'll swift reform his savage orcs way back over the hill so that they'll be like in formation with my squids get in a range to charge. And basically his Doom Drivers, I think they destroyed a wolf chariot. And in magic, I know he's trying to get off his 5+ poison. I'm able to stop that. 6 plus poison is bad enough to me. So yeah, this is his turn 4. You can see his night goblins wipe out my savages, the unit, not the characters, before I can even strike. Oh, and then his night goblins, they can strike my big boss and spider. They do 1 wound again, and I fail the 2+ armor save again. All right, so I'm gonna break. He'll run down my savages. The 3 characters were all that left. They could have rallied if I could have got away. But he runs them down. The orc chariot goes through the ruins and destroys itself. And the spider and the wolf chariot get away. So basically, on my turn 4, I rally the spider, which makes no difference because he can get half points for it anyway. The wolf chariot goes off the table. I put rock lobas and doom divers into his night goblins, get them down to 25%, so I do get half points for them. I think the last doom diver shot at his big uns because there was nothing else to shoot at, and killed two of them, which really didn't matter. So yeah, that's basically the end of the game. We have no more time. We've run out of time at this point. It was disappointing we were going to do 4 turns. I think maybe if we played 6, I could have got to his big uns, but that's pretty much all I could have done other than shooting at his night goblins and hoping I could pick off another character or two with either Photogork or Rock Labas or something from failed lookout stars. So we add this all up, and it's going to be a 15-5 victory for the evil orcs. I just was not able to do enough damage to his big Death Star there. And, almost all his rest of his points was just like not even really being used. I was able to kill the front wagons, but stuff in the corner I just couldn't get to. And I wasn't able to kill enough big bosses. I got a lot of half points for a lot of characters, but that just wasn't enough. I mean, and I got half points for the Night Goblins, but taking out my 3 main characters and my Savage Orcs was more than enough to make up for that. I don't I don't know what I could have done differently other than when I set up second because of the scenario, just have all my stuff in my corner and just try to shoot it out because I don't think with what I had on the table I could ever take out that Night Goblin star there. Anyway, this is still really fun. Uh, I played Ken a long time ago at Southern Assault when he was using Warriors. And at Brawler Bash this year, we were on tables next to each other almost the entire tournament. And we kept saying, eventually we're going to wind up playing each other, but we never did. So I said, next time we're at a tournament together, I'm going to challenge you first round so that we'll finally get to play each other again, Orcs versus Orcs. So this was still a lot of fun. I think I learned a lot. His deployment was really unique. And I think he deploys like this almost all the time. So this is something you might want to start thinking about if you're playing Orcs in ETC. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. My next game is going to be against Vampire Counts. I'll see you guys next time. Feel free to like or subscribe or comment. Thanks you for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.